Alright folks, welcome back to the Don's channel. I am the Donfather and I'm now going to be doing my tipping predictions for round 3 in the AFL. Thursday the 18th of June then, 2020. First up at the MCG, one game only on this day, Richmond versus Hawthorn. Richmond of course drew with Collingwood last Thursday, which ended up 36 apiece, and Hawthorn lost. Both teams had a win before that in round 1. I'm going to go with Richmond here. I think they've just got a little bit too much for Hawthorn to be able to deal with on Thursday. Hawthorn are one of the teams that are really difficult to predict because they really could go either way. They could go and get a good result and then the next week go and mess it up. They're very inconsistent. But I think Richmond will bounce back pretty quickly from not getting their win, and they will win here at the MCG. How many games is that now in the MCG for Richmond straight? I think it's a lot anyway. It's a lot of games they've played at the MCG. So on a Friday then, the 19th, Bulldogs versus the Giants at the Marvel. And obviously everyone knows now that I'm a Bulldogs man, and they've lost 2 in a row. The Giants lost last week as well, and they won in round 1. So the form going into it, neither team really convincing at the weekend. But I think the Giants are going to do the Bulldogs. I honestly do. Bulldogs are still going to be without Easton Wood, which is a huge blow for them. And do you know what? Round 1 was bad enough. They were poor against Collingwood, but in some ways they were even worse against St Kilda at the weekend. They lacked that fighting spirit. Probably the reason why I kind of liked watching the Bulldogs, because they had that bit of grit and determination and fight about them. They've just lacked that in both rounds 1 and 2. So that's been pretty disappointing for the doggies side of things. But I think Giants have the quality. They'll be looking to bounce back from their defeat. I can't see them losing 2 in a row, so I'm saying Giants for the win. Saturday the 20th then. North versus Swans at the Marvel again. North Melbourne, tell you what, that's 2 wins in a row. They find themselves up at the very top end of the ladder, which is quite exciting for their fans. I know it's very, very early on into the season, but they're playing the Swans, right? Swans are one of those teams, again like Hawthorn. There's a few teams out there that you kind of put into that category. I've been getting told off a guy there through social media and through the comments that honestly the Swans they're improving, all the rest of it. So I heed that advice, and thanks very much for it. But I still don't see it yet. The potential, obviously, I like players like Blakey and Papley. I think they've been really, really good. I think losing Buddy was a big blow for them. I think he said that this is one of the fittest he had been at the very, very start, and then he's pulled up another injury again, so it's a setback for him. But they did lack something. They did actually lack something I think he would have gave them at the weekend. And on that note, I'm going to go with the momentum of North right now. I think they played really, really well, thoroughly deserved their win. And I'm backing them for the win here. So then next game, Collingwood versus St Kilda at the MCG. Collingwood drawn with Richmond, as I said. St Kilda smashing the Bulldogs. St Kilda could take a lot of confidence from that. Not just the way they got the result and the win, but the way they set out a game plan. They got the early lead. They got a bit of a gap in the lead. But winning by a good considerable margin, and then every time the Bulldogs tried to close the gap, St Kilda smashed them on the counter. So if they complete these sorts of game plans that they've managed to do there against the like of Bulldogs, they're in with a little bit of a chance. Do you know what I mean? Collingwood are a really, really good side. Everybody knows how good Collingwood are. They won their first game in round 1. They've drew against Richmond. They got off to a really, really early start. I predict whoever gets a really good start in this one, they've got a good chance of going out and winning it. But because this is a tipping competition, I'm going to go with Collingwood. Alright? So, Geelong versus Kelton then, the GMHBA. Geelong, 2 games at home in a row. Wow. It's not like it for them, is it? They won last week. Absolutely smashed Hawthorn. They were really, really good to watch. Their senior players were excellent, and I mean excellent. Gary Ablett Jr. rolling back the years. Dangerfield played well. Selwood, and all the other guys as well. I really enjoyed their performance, to tell you the truth. Pleasantly surprised that they've responded so well. They lost round one. Carlton have lost 2 games in a row. And Geelong smashed Hawthorn. And I predict a convincing win in this one. Probably a big enough margin, to tell you the truth. Because I don't see Carlton haven't really got going yet, have they? You fear for them again. I think a lot of people was kind of expecting Carlton to be turning a corner here and good things on the horizon. But the first 2 rounds haven't suggested that, have they? So they would really need a big response this weekend, to give their fans that little bit of that little bit of belief that the fans have had to make them realise it wasn't all in vain. But it could be. I reckon Geelong's going to go out here and absolutely throttle them. So Geelong win. Lions versus Eagles at the Gabba. This is probably the best game of the weekend, to be fair. In terms of, how do you call it? It's really quite a difficult setup. Both teams very, very good. Obviously, they both lost 1 and won 1. But Lions won theirs at the weekend, and the Eagles got smashed off the Gold Coast. I do believe that Suns victory, do you know what I mean? It was one of those freak results that you get against teams like that, that it happens in sport, you know what I mean? But the West Coast Eagles, all that being said, I'm still tipping the Lions for the victory here. I believe that they're going to be strong, they're going to be confident that they're at home. I think West Coast Eagles, there was something about the performance that was flat, it was lacking in something, and I know Jeremy McGovern's going to be missing this game as well, so that's a huge blow in the defence. I just feel the Lions can take a lot of confidence from their last win, but the Eagles need a huge response, and I mean, these are the games now that you need to be winning. I know it's very early on, but you don't want to be losing 2 early games in a row in this shortened season, so every game you must take your points if you want to get into that top 8, because there's less games to play and less minutes on the footy field because it's shortened quarters. So I actually genuinely believe that because of the shortened quarters and the shortened season, these early games and getting an early start in the games is absolutely vital, and I mean vital, especially if you're prone to starting your games well but finishing not too good. So if you could get a good start, if you're coming up against teams like the bigger, better teams that know how to grind results out and find ways to win, if you can get early leads into shorter quarters, you could actually do something in these games. You can take a lot of confidence from the fact that there's a shorter quarters and a shortened season. Get yourself up there at the top of the leaderboard very early on. If you can get 3-4 wins under your belt in the first 3 or 4 games, you're in a good commanding position, I believe. So, Lions to win anyway. I'm getting sidetracked here. That was the last game on Saturday, so 3 games on Sunday. We're back at the Metricon for the Suns. I'm actually looking forward to this because it's almost what people would probably say bottom of the table, bottom of the ladder scrap here. But I believe Gold Coast are actually the better side than the Crows this year. I honestly do. People go, what the hell are you talking about? The way Port absolutely dismantled, and I mean dismantled, the Crows, and there was no fight in the Crows, makes me seriously think there's massive problems at the Crows on the footy field. There was just a serious lack of fight all over the park, all over the footy field. There was nothing that made me think, nah, do you know what, this is a freak result. It's a derby day humping. They'll bounce back. I don't see it. I don't see them bouncing back very, very quickly. Crows have lost the first 2 rounds. West Coast Eagles getting beat off the Gold Coast Suns. The Gold Coast Suns getting the win against the West Coast Eagles there, in amazing fashion. I mean, the way they ran out, it was a great scoreline for them. I think they're going to be brimming with confidence from that, and I think they've probably got the better team, as I said, so I'm going with the Suns. I don't know if I've ever done that before, predicted a Suns victory, so I'm absolutely buzzing about that one, to tell you the truth. Go on the Suns. I'm actually hoping they win. Do you know what I mean? 2 wins in a row, it's kind of unheard of. So on to the next game, MCG now, Essendon versus Melbourne. Essendon with 2 wins in a row, which is quite good for them, good start. And Melbourne obviously getting the win at the weekend, but losing round 1. I think Fantasia and Conor McKenna could be back for this weekend's footy. That's actually a big bonus for Essendon because they don't have a huge depth in terms of quality throughout their team. So they need all their first team players kind of back and playing, if you know what I mean, to keep that consistency level maintained throughout the season. I'm predicting an Essendon win. I'm not going to go too far into it. I think Melbourne are a stuttery team, aren't they? They'll probably lose more than they'll win this year. But I think Essendon, you know what? They're not exactly, don't exactly dazzle you. They're not the most exciting team every week to watch, but they have got something about them. They can grind out results. So if this does get dragged into a bit of an arm wrestle, I still feel Essendon will win. I think they've got it in the locker to go out there and grab this game by the scruff and win it. 3 wins in a row for Essendon, possibly. Last game then, Freo versus Port at the Metricon. Of course, we've got the hubs opened up for the South Australian teams now after the Adelaide Oval fixture of the showdown last week. We're now going to be seeing them 2 clubs joining the other clubs in Queensland, and it'll be played at the Metricon. Freo losing the last 2, Port winning the first 2, obviously smashing the Crows. Fantastic game, fantastic result for Port. Freo, they're a frustrating side. They do have quality in their team. They really do. I think Hogan's back this week. Nat Fife actually did inspire a little bit of a comeback there at the weekend. They can't keep relying on this man to inspire them. The other players need to start taking a bit more responsibility on the footy field. Obviously, people like Sonny Walters, he's always impressive every week. I think losing Bradley Hill, they've not replaced that. You can see that energy he gives them driving forward. They've not replaced that. Not yet, anyway. I've not seen any sign of that there when I was watching them. It's all a bit static. I'm predicting a Port win, and I'm actually predicting quite a comfortable one. So Port, I think, will remain at first in the ladder, actually, after this weekend's footy. That's my predictions, folks, anyway. They'll be up on the screen here now, so run through them. Let me know who you've predicted for round 3. I'm really looking forward to it. I think round 2 was absolutely phenomenal, and it was just great to have the footy back as a whole, wasn't it? I'm really disappointed I've went against the Bulldogs. Obviously, I try and do these predictions as honestly as possible. I try and do my reviews as honestly as possible, and don't let your personal allegiances kind of tint your vision, if you know what I mean. Try and be as honest and fair and constructive as possible. I just don't see the Bulldogs doing it against the Giants. I'm really disappointed to say that, but I'm really excited to see if the Gold Coast Suns can get 2 wins in a row. That'll be good. Some big games in there as well, but actually so many upsets could happen. It's incredible. This is why I love footy, because predicting games is absolutely brutal, so hard. It's such a competitive sport. So many teams can turn around other teams at the top of the ladder. It's just excellent viewing. It's great for somebody that's just discovering the sport, how competitive it is. I just want to touch on one thing from last Thursday's game. Collingwood Richmond. A lot of people said shite game, low score and blah blah blah. No, absolutely wrong assessment of the game. For me, you've got it all wrong. It shouldn't be about how many goals are scored. It shouldn't be about how many set shots happen or how much footage played in the final third. That was an absolute olden day scrap on that footy field. Both teams absolutely brilliant defensively, and you know what? They gave it their all. They gave it their all. Both teams never let the other one have an inch. That was old school type footy, which you want to see these scraps. So physical. Both teams really put their bodies on the line on Thursday, and I commend them for that. It doesn't always need to be a high-scoring game to be a good one. That's all I'll say. Thanks very much, everyone, and I'll talk to you all soon. Enjoy this weekend's footy. We're up tomorrow again. It came round so fast. It's great to see. And stay tuned. I think I've got a quiz possibly today or tomorrow. There'll be an AFL quiz on this channel, live stream. So if you can, please join in and take part. And all super chats will be absolutely welcome, because all of this, obviously, the plan for 2021 has been hit on the head because of the COVID. So I'm hoping to try and see if I can remedy that, if you like. Thanks very much, everyone, and I'll talk to you all soon. Goodbye.